today I thought I'd talk about the battery that I've been building. This is a little bit of a different project. I'm building a lithium phosphate um, battery for my boat, but also for camping and just as a backup solution as well. It's a 315 amp hour 12 volt battery. It's 4 cells that are each 315 amp hours at 3.2 volts, all wired together using a 300 amp BMS, and that's wired into right now a 2000 watt peak 4000 watt inverter. So the idea is to be able to run like an induction cooker and run a microwave, run a kettle, these kind of conveniences on the boat or when we're camping. You can also, from the 12 volt system, run a refrigerator or a freezer, which I'm going to wire in a 12 volt circuit as well into the system, but right now I'm just using it as an inverter. And yeah, it's really great. So the idea will be to, in the boat, have a Renogy DC to DC charger. So there's a charge controller that can take solar photovoltaic inputs as well as alternator input to charge the battery while we're underway in the boat. And then in the future, I already have that component. I just need to install it and wire it. And then wire it to the battery, which is pretty much the next step. And then I'd like to also in the future pick up, I think I want to do a Victron. This one's mostly a Renogy, and then like I have a no-name inverter, but I'd like to do a Victron build, and maybe just even not the built battery itself, but solar controller. I already have a solar controller. I have a little battery monitor that can monitor the temperature and send it back to the solar charger. All I needed to pick up is a Victron DC to DC charger, and I can install that in my pickup truck. And then I can just use the same battery and inverter, the whole system, kind of like almost like a do-it-yourself Ecoflow Delta Pro. It's got the same basic capacity, 4 kilowatt hours. It's got a slightly smaller inverter. Mine's a 2000 watt. I think the Ecoflow Pro is at least a 3000 watt. It might even have like a peak of more than that. There's a lot of really great things about the Ecoflow, but they're expensive. And for me, I've got probably 90% of the capability that I need in the homemade solution, which cost me like a third the cost of the Ecoflow Pro. So that's the big value there, is just getting a better cost ratio. It's built into with really heavy duty components. Everything's 300 amp, like the bus bars are 300 amp. There's a 300 amp fuse on the terminal coming out of the battery, the positive, and then that immediately goes to a on-off switch, and that can shut the power off in the whole system coming out of the battery. That goes to a 300 amp hour positive bus bar, and from the bus bar it goes into the inverter, and it's all using 2-watt AWG cable, so really short runs and really heavy duty cable. So I've boiled water with it. You'll see I've got I've got some footage of it boiling water. I have some footage of it running an air conditioner. I mean, it can run basically, it's like a wall circuit in your house. Anything that you can pretty much run off of a standard wall outlet, you can do. It's like 15 amp coming out of there, 2000 watt inverter. And you can see coming out of the negative with 2-watt cabling to the 300 amp BMS, and then from the 300 amp BMS, that's that component in the top right corner there, goes out to the shunt, which is right down those two gold colored lugs, and out of the shunt we see the battery monitor. From the shunt we go to the negative bus bar. From the negative bus bar we go around to the negative on the 2000 continuous pure sine inverter. On the positive side, we come out of the positive terminal to a terminal mounted 300 amp fuse, and then from the fuse we go to the switch, 300 amp rated switch. From the switch we go to the 300 amp rated positive bus bar, and then from the 300 amp bus bar we go, it's hard to see, but right down at the bottom there we're going back to the positive on the 2000 watt inverter. And then all those little lines are going to the BMS, except for the top red one, which is going back to the battery monitor. I do need to ventilate it, so I got to get some fans. I got a solution in mind where I'm gonna draw the air in one way and exhaust it another way. I'm actually thinking I might put all the exhaust and all the monitoring on the top, the lid, because unlike most battery solutions like the Ecoflow where you have everything on the front, I want to keep the box pretty waterproof at the base. Just as an extra precaution, it acts like a big wash basin to hold the battery in and keep it away from the water even that much further. So as much of the height of the siding of the box that I can preserve and not have to go through it with. I know a lot of guys will drill holes into the sides and put like outlets and all that kind of thing. I want to keep it pretty simple. Essentially a AC circuit with like the ability to run like a few DC items. Like I've got the monitoring systems, and I want to be able to do a few other things off of it, but predominantly it is meant to be a large volume power source. And then I still have the small Ecoflow that we can use for like laptops, more like the devices. Nice clean power. It's only about 60 amp hours, but it does do quite a bit. I want to run the fridge off of the big one. That's one of my things, so we will have a DC circuit in there for that. Okay, well that's it for this one. Next week I'm going to try and get some more footage out at the boat. I've been just putting in a floor out there, so that's another project for the boat. And yeah, if you have any questions or ideas about building your own backup power systems, I'm going to do more videos as I expand the system and start adding the solar panels and all that type of thing to it, but step by step, get something working and then move forward from there. All right, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again on the next one. Bye for now.